Hi, everybody. It's Miss Judy from the Red Bank Library, and today we're going to talk about harvest festivals, how people around the world give thanks for the food that that gets harvested for them to eat. So let's go forward. So before we start, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the ancestral land of the Lenape-Munsee-speaking original inhabitants of the Navesink area. There existed a village right here on the river at Oyster Point, and we honor their ancestors for their many contributions and acknowledge descendants who still remain in our land. So people, as far back as anyone's known, have gathered to give thanks for the food that we have grown. A bountiful harvest is perfect to share, and it's a wonderful way to show others you care. Now, today, most people don't do not grow the food they eat and don't always think about where the food comes from. The harvest festivals were originally about giving thanks that there was enough food to survive for the next year. Of course, that's changed a little bit. And harvest time is very hard work for farmers and the farm workers. Some of the hardest work they're going to do all year. Once the harvest is over, though, the celebration begins. And in this country, the main harvest festival is, of course, Thanksgiving, and that's in the fall. And today we're going to talk about how people around the world celebrate their harvest. So in South Korea, when summer is ending and leaves will fall soon, we gather for Chuseok beneath a full moon. We roll we roll sungpyeon together with speed. We all love the ones stuffed with sesame seed. So Chuseok is celebrated on a full moon in the beginning of autumn. And the food that is harvested is thought to be a blessing from ancestors, and some families gather to make offerings to them. They make sticky rice flour cakes with different fillings called songpyeon, but obviously the ones with sesame seed are the most popular. And people may also wear traditional Korean clothes called hanbok during this celebration. And these are actually the clothes that people are wearing in this on this picture. So when dozinki comes and we cut the last sheaf, we tie it with flowers and make a big wreath. We offer the grains and the loaves of fresh bread, giving thanks we have food for the cold days ahead. So dozinki is celebrated by people in Eastern Europe, and each country celebrates a little differently depending on what they are harvesting. So in Poland, in the autumn, they harvest wheat, and this ancient festival has actually been celebrated for thousands of years. Um, and now, though, many celebrations are organized by Christian churches. When the last sheaf, which is a bundle of wheat stalks, is made, it's decorated with fruits, vegetables, and flowers, and everyone gathers to march with a big wreath and offer it as thanks for a good harvest. Some people wear traditional clothes, and afterward may have a celebration with food and dance. So, Tamil Nadu, India. On the third day of Pongal, we thank all the cows and the powerful bulls who work pulling plows. And in India, they sometimes use animals to harvest. We dress up the cattle and hand feed them treats. The pot's boiling over with sweet rice to eat. Pongal is actually a 4-day Hindu celebration by the Tamil people, and it's in southern India, giving thanks to the Hindu sun god Surya. And it's around the middle of January. This Pongal is also the name of the dish made for the celebration from harvested rice and lentils, and it's sweetened with sugar. And this is also the dish, as we mentioned, that on the third day of the festival they give to the farm animals that work hard helping with the harvest. These animals are also bathed and decorated. The dish is cooked often outside until it boils over, and this represents the blessing of the harvest. And people gather for music and dancing. They make bright artwork called kolam using rice powder to adorn the ground. And you can see that around the bottom of the fire. You can see the kolam. So Martestachaya is quite a display. We thank Earth Mother on Carnival Day. We offer up water as fireworks crack. Our planet provides, so we want to give back. And it's a festival celebrated by the Ayamara people. The Aymara have lived in Bolivia and other parts of South America for centuries, and today parts of their ancient celebration remain and have become mixed with Catholic traditions from the Spanish that settled there. The celebration is on the last Tuesday before Lent. Hence, they call it Carnival, similar to New Orleans, Fat Tuesday. They make a chaya, or offering, to give thanks for the harvest to the Aymara's Earth Mother, Pachamama, who has been worshipped for thousands of years. They offer sweets, confetti, balloons, flowers, and curly streamers called serpentina. They play with water and fireworks. Even noise is considered an offering to the Earth Mother. At Homowo each year, the Ga people recall dry days in the past when the harvest was small. Now, laughing at hunger, they all dance and sing. They're thankful for rain and the harvest it brings. And in Ghana, Homowa is an annual harvest festival celebrated to remember the drought that when there was not enough rain to grow enough food for everyone. Now that they have plenty to eat, they gather each year to laugh at the idea of hunger. And it also has become a celebration of peace. They prepare a dish called pekpele or pakpe for this festival, and it's made with cornmeal, palm nut soup, and smoked fish. And during the celebration, thanks is also given to the ancestors by sprinkling some of the pekpele on the ground as an offering to them. Many people wear festive red clothes and march through the streets singing and dancing. So this is Ghana. Okay. Our ancestors sighed with relief in the sun once the backbreaking work of the harvest was done. When crop over comes, we wear feathers and crowns. We take pride in our heritage and passing it down. And this festival started on the sugar plantations. And it was started by African people who were enslaved and brought to Barbados to work on the sugar plantations. It became a way to celebrate the end of the very hard, hot, difficult work of growing and harvesting the sugar cane. It was also a way to allow themselves to strengthen their connection and grow their community, and also strengthen their connection to something greater than themselves. The celebration of crop over does not include food because they did not get to eat the food they harvested. Instead, they celebrated with what they had, their voices and their bodies. They focused on singing and dancing and other performances as a group. Today, Crop Over is a very different celebration. It's 2 months of parades, music, parties, costumes, artwork, dancing, and food, and ending in a kadooment. And also, there's a junior kadooment, and this happens the first week of August. And there were parades with groups called masquerade bands in elaborate costumes. And a lot like Mardi Gras in New Orleans and Martes de Chaya in Bolivia, the Kaduma includes these masquerade bands similar to the Black Mardi Gras crews in New Orleans. And both have deep roots in African culture. And Kaduma is a time for families to reunite and traditions to be passed on. When it's time for Sukkot, the building we make is nice to spend time in, asleep or awake. Our family and friends come to meet us inside, and they're grateful for all that Hashem, which is the Hebrew word for God, can provide. And the Jewish Harvest Festival of Sukkot is celebrated in September or October, and it's celebrated pretty much the same in Jewish homes all around the world. People build a temporary hut-like structure called a sukkah. It has at least 3 walls and a roof of branches and leaves that allows for a view of the sky, especially at night when you can see the stars. And it's made of organic materials from plants. During the holiday, families and friends gather in the sukkah and have festive meals to give thanks for the harvest and to remember their ancestors wandering the desert for 40 years. Sometimes they sleep inside the sukkah. Now, depending on the country or region, sukkahs may look different. Here we look at a Moroccan sukkah, which often is decorated with the bright patterned fabrics that Morocco is famous for. So in Liberia, each year in November comes Thanksgiving Day. We show that we're grateful in all different ways. Some bring fruit to the church and then hear pastors preach, and others enjoy a fun day at the beach. So this celebration is called Thanksgiving, and this country was founded by families of Americans of African descent who had lived in the United States for generations and who brought Thanksgiving traditions with them. They brought many traditions and they celebrate Thanksgiving their own way every November. They celebrate a little differently because there have been many struggles in Liberia. They celebrate not just the harvest, but they give thanks that Liberia has remained stable for another year. It's traditional to make donations of fruits, vegetables, or livestock to houses of worship. They are then blessed and sold to raise money for the congregation. For many, prayer is central to Thanksgiving, but many younger people, unfortunately or fortunately, depending how you look at it, use the day off work and school to relax at the beach. Oops, sorry guys. So our Magron table has flowers and bread, some candles, a mirror, and fruit. That is red. Let me just. We joyfully toss herbs and seeds in the air, embracing to show one another we care. And this is an Iranian festival that has been celebrated for thousands of years, and it actually came from an ancient Persian religion. Persia was what Iran used to be called. Even though most Iranians are Muslims, many older Persian traditions, like Marigon, are still celebrated throughout Iran. It celebrates the Persian god, sun god, Mithra. It is also called the Persian Festival of Autumn and falls on October 8th. People wear new clothes and set a table called a sofra that is covered with crops from the harvest, including red fruits. The table also has herbs, nuts, sweets, and bread, and might include a mirror, flowers and candles, and water and incense. The celebration includes prayer in front of the mirror, dancing and embracing, and showering loved ones with herbs and seeds. So in Spain, a slightly different festival way of celebrating the harvest, it's La Tomatina. Tomatoes are ripe. Let's head to the streets for a rowdy food fight. When tomatoes start flying, you all better run, but don't throw them too hard. It's really all in fun. And this event is celebrated on the last Wednesday of August. And while it's not a traditional harvest, it does include produce from local farms that has been harvested from local farms. It started as a parade in 1945 in Buñol, Spain, where a group of young people got into an argument during the parade and turned it into an all-out tomato fight when one side threw a ripe tomato from a nearby fruit stand. It ended up being so much fun that people came back every year on the last Wednesday in August and kept the tomato fight tradition going. Officials, of course, tried to stop it, but it was just too popular. Tens of thousands of people travel every year to Buñol for La Tomatina, and over 150,000 overripe, rotten tomatoes that have been harvested are brought in by truck from farms in the area. It ends up with everyone covered in tomato juice and tomato pulp. Now, some people are concerned about food waste, but they only use rotting tomatoes that are not considered safe food for people to eat. Okay. So in Punjab, India, we harvest the wheat when we feel fresh spring air. Vasiki is here, and it's time for the fair. The Milo puts us in a jovial mood. We love all the dancing and the rides and good food. Now, the another Indian harvest festival, because we talked about Pongal in by the Tamil in southern India. This is another spring festival, and it's in the northwest region in the Punjab. There's a great deal of cultural diversity in India, which is home to over 2,000 different ethnic groups with many different regions, languages, and regional traditions. So we are talking about two in this book. So the Punjabi festival of Vaisakhi is a major public holiday and religious holiday in Punjab. It marks the Sikh New Year, the solar New Year, and the harvest of winter grain. Now, Sikhs practice the Sikh religion, which is different than the Hindu religion, though it does have some similarities of philosophy. And even though it's a Sikh New Year celebration, it's also a solar New Year and harvest celebration. So it's celebrated by all faiths in the Punjab, not just Sikhs. Of course, once the harvest is done, there's money to celebrate and have a fair or a Milo. This fair includes food, shopping, entertainment, rides, and the traditional banga dancing, which includes energetic jumps and kicks. And this is a style of dance seen in many Bollywood and Indian themed films. Now, we talked about how people spread their traditions around the world, and it turns out that there's a very large Punjabi population in Vancouver, Canada, and celebrating Vaisakhi is the largest annual single day event in Vancouver. Okay. So every St. Martin's Day brings a parade. We march through the streets with lanterns we made. We all sing together by candlelight glow. Stars twinkle above, and we twinkle below. Every year, according to the Christian calendar, on November 11th is the celebration of St. Martin's Day. The day celebrates St. Martin of Tours, a French saint known for cutting his coat in half to share it with a man who was cold in winter. This feast day is at the end of the autumn harvest season, and it's celebrated in different ways in different countries and cultures, but it does also celebrate the harvest. In Germany, there's a lantern lit parade the night before. Children walk along with their parents, singing and carrying homemade lanterns, and the procession might be led by someone dressed as Saint Martin riding a horse. It often ends in a town square with a bonfire, and children enjoy baked treats and a traditional dinner of goose. So people have changed how we live through the years, but we still come together when harvest time nears. We give thanks for our earth and the hard work that's done to grow the world's harvest to feed everyone. So notice we talk about we still come together. So community is a very important part of most of these celebrations. And harvest festivals are among the most ancient traditions on earth, and that still continue today. And they're a way of giving thanks to the farmers and the workers who grow and harvest the food. They were also a way to connect with and give thanks to Mother Earth for the food that grows so that everyone has something to eat. The festivals give people a chance to honor and acknowledge their ancestors and their gods. Most of the celebrations do include family and community activities. They are joyous occasions that include dancing, singing, sharing of food, and general celebration. So I hope finding out about different harvest festivals in this book will get you to thinking about where our food comes from, how important the hard work of farmers and farm workers is to successful harvest, and how similar many traditions are around the world that honor community and also ancestors. Whoops, sorry. So I hope you enjoyed learning about harvest festivals from different cultures. The book is today's presentation, Harvest Days, Giving Thanks Around the World, and you can get this at the library, and it's by Kate DePalma. So, as I said, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.